me tell you, living with a gambler doesn't just affect you or affect the kids. It affects your peace. It affects your bills. And eventually it affects your whole family. See, I had to borrow money. And that meant my mother was now in the middle of the problem. That's the ripple effect of gambling. One person rolls the dice and the whole family pays. Welcome to Win Win with Gwen, hosted by Gwendolyn Shores, author, inspirational speaker, transformational coach, and CEO of Minds Above Matters. This is the podcast where your dreams ignite, limits shatter, and action leads to the life that you deserve. Your breakthrough starts here. Hello and welcome back to another amazing episode of Win Win with Gwen. And I am your host, transformational coach Gwendolyn Shores. And welcome to the space where we get all the way real about life, about love, about leveling up through the hard stuff that life throws our way. Before I get started, I want each and every one of you to give yourself a high five. Yes, give yourself a high five right now for showing up and pressing play on a topic that most people whisper about but never face. Let me ask you a question. What do you do when you love, and I mean love, a gambler? I'm talking about that heavy feeling in your stomach that you get when you love a gambler, that you get every single payday. When that check hits the bank and you're wondering, did the check make it to pay the bill? Or did it vanish into a slot machine, a scratch off, or maybe even a poker table? I can relate to that feeling because that's a mixed feeling. It's a feeling that's mixed with love, fear, anger, and exhaustion. Gambling doesn't just hurt the person playing the game. Let me let you know that right off the bat. It hurts the whole entire household, friends, family member. It hurts a lot of people. Today, I'm going to help you protect yourself, protect your kids, and maybe, just maybe, find a way to heal your home. So I want to start off by sharing with you a personal story, a story that holds dear to my heart. So I'm going to take you back for a second to a time when I came home after a hard day of work to find that my lights were turned off. After out. So there was nothing I could do until the next day to get them turned back on. My kids, they were little. They were small children during the time. And I was doing everything I could to protect them from the realities of living in a household with a gambler. That night, I could have panicked, but instead, panicking in front of my children, I decided to turn it into an adventure. And I want to share that adventure with you. That night we made shadow puppets, little bunny rabbits. I remember making all those hand puppets. We used flashlights and we used comforters and chairs to build a fort. We had snacks, Kool-Aid, potato chips, candy. We just had a fun time. We told stories and we laughed. And to them, it was a party. It was fun. But when they fell asleep, I cried. I cried because I knew the next day I had to face this problem. I had to figure out a solution. And thank God for my mother, because the next day she helped me turn the lights back on. But here's the thing. Living with a gambler doesn't just affect you. It affects your kids. It affects their peace. It affects your peace. It affects your bills. It affects your other family members, your friends. It affects so many people. See, that day I had to borrow money from my mother, which meant I needed to pay her back money because she used her bill money to turn on my lights. And if I did not pay her back, she was going to be without. So that's the ripple effect of gambling. One person rolls that dice, and friends and family members pay the price. They're not the only ones that lose at the table. When the house wins, your house loses. Some of you right now are listening, and that means you are the spouse or the partner. And maybe you have reached that point where you had to cut off the money of the gambler. Or maybe you've reached that point and you're going to have to do that. You reached a point where you've had to separate the bank accounts, or maybe you know that's what's coming. Maybe you said to them, no more borrowing. Maybe you said, I'm tired of hearing them say, just this one time, please. But here's the truth. when you decide to stop, if you haven't already decided to stop telling them, yes, it gets real. The gambler gets angry. Yes, they're going to get angry, but that's something you're going to have to do. They're going to start to blame you. They're going to even try to manipulate you with guilt and fake promises. You're going to have to be strong. And that's what I'm giving you today. The message that you must be strong, because they're going to make you feel like the villain. You're going to feel like you are the villain for protecting the roof over your children's heads. You're going to feel like you're the villain because you were the one that had to keep the lights on, help make the food stay in the house, do the basic. And yes, when you're doing all of this, sometimes family members get pulled in, and you're going to be responsible for stop pulling those family members in. You have a lot to handle right now. It's going to get real. They're going to get you to try to make loans. They're going to want you to try to borrow money. You're going to have to learn to say no. And no is going to be so hard. I'm telling you right now, the gambler is not going to be the one to change sometimes. It's going to have to be you that changes before the gambler can change, because it's up to you to protect things. You are now the protector of peace, the protector of your families. And guess what? No is going to be your magic word, even when it hurts. So let me give you some practical advice. Not that I haven't given you any practical advice already. So let me say this. I'm going to give you some more. I'm going to give you an acronym, and that acronym is called PACT. PACT, because you're going to need a pact with yourself. You're going to need a pact to protect your household. So let's start with that P. That P is going to stand for protect the kids. You're going to shield them from the stress when you can, but also teach them the truth when it's age appropriate. Don't let their innocence carry the weight of the adult. You make sure you protect my babies. Y'all promise me that. See, I'm going to protect the kids, Gwendolyn. I'm going to protect those kids, Coach Gwendolyn. And then we're going to talk about that A. That A is for you to avoid those financial traps. Do not put the house up, take out loans on your house, on your cars. Don't do any of that. And if you need to separate your finances, you do that. You lock it down. You lock down the essentials. Don't co-sign or cover their debts, because if you do, it's only going to get deeper, and you're going to get deeper and deeper in a hole that you cannot get out of. Now let's move to the C, because the C is for call in some support. Call on God, call on therapy, call on Gamblers Anonymous, call the family, call the counseling, call on a trusted friend. You need a safe space to vent. You make sure you have someone to talk to and get some guidance, because you need it too. And then there's that T. I want you to tell the truth, because secrets keep you stuck, honey. Be honest with yourself and trust someone. I want you to trust a friend, trust a family member. But whatever you do, don't go by that old saying, what happens in this house stays in this house. Honey, you've got to take that out that house and talk to somebody before you lose your mind. Stop holding all that in. Look, you've got to have tough love for that gambler. And you know what? I have tough love for you if you're the gambler and you're listening. So I want you to listen up. I want you to listen up, because I love you enough to keep it real. Maybe you couldn't hear what they were telling you. Maybe it's going to take my voice to get to you. Listen, when you win, your money will disappear. Easy come, easy go. The faster you win it, the faster you're going to lose it. And then I know what you do. When you win big, you go and give handouts to friends, to family members. And it's just the setup for you to borrow even more. All you're doing is creating a pyramid. I know how it goes. Look, this is how it goes. You win, you spend, you have fun with the family, make them smile, and then you give them money. And the key is you give them money, but then when it's time to go back to the casino, you, or wherever you gamble at, you lose all that you have left. And then you go back and borrow from those people, poor people. They don't even know that you're coming back. And you're going to borrow even more than you gave them when you lose. And guys, if you're the gambler, I know you're in pain. I know it feels like the end of the world when you lose. I know it does. I've talked to some gamblers, and you know what? You feel like you can't face your family when you lose. You feel like you can't even face yourself. But please hear me out. Losing is temporary. Losing your life is forever. And you know what feeling I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You know those thoughts you have when you lose big. Your children and your partner, they love you. They would rather have you broke and breathing than gone forever. So you know what I'm talking about, because it gets bad in the mind of a gambler when they lose everything. Money, listen, honey. Money can be made again. Peace can be restored. Healing is possible, but you've got to reach out for help. Call Gamblers Anonymous. Call Gamblers Anonymous. Call a therapist. Call a trusted friend when you get so low that it hurts too deep. Because look, your next bet is not the answer. Your next choice is going to be the answer to healing and overcoming gambling. Because every single spin you play, your family pays. Not just you, but your family. Because look, love doesn't mean funding destruction, so they're not responsible for funding the situation. Also, losing money is temporary. So you remember that. Losing money is temporary, but losing your life is forever. That jackpot won't save you. Your next choice will save you. And let your next choice be the right choice. And if you're having problems still and you need a little more extra help, if you need deeper tools to rebuild yourself and your mindset, grab my book. Grab my book. Excuse me, I got the hiccups, guys, but I'm going to keep talking. Grab my book, Get Beat to Get Better, on Amazon. And that beat, B-E-A-T, it stands for belief, expectation, formation, and tenacity. And you're going to need tenacity when it comes to beating this gambling habit. I use these steps inside of this book to rebuild my life and break toxic cycles that I was going through. And I know it's going to help you. So if you need more help, get that book. Guys, if this episode hit home, give yourself another high five, because you definitely deserve it. Because today, staying here and listening to this podcast means you took a step towards protecting your peace. You understand that you don't have to suffer in silence anymore. You understand that you can get help. You know that you need to set boundaries. And I know that you're going to do these things. And remember, money can come and go, but your life and your peace, they're priceless. Now listen, I don't want you to be a gatekeeper. I want you to share this episode with someone who needs it. And I want you to remember to like, subscribe, follow, and meet me here every Friday at 6:15 a.m. And like I tell you guys every week, and this week is no different from last week and the week before, you've got to do the work. And you understand what I said just then? I said you've got to do the work. Say it with me one time. You've got to do the work, because the only way to win is to do the work. And I have no doubt in my mind for the person who's living with the gambler. I have no doubt in my mind that you will be strong enough to do what it takes to protect yourself, to protect my babies, protect those kids, protect your family members. I know you can do it. And I know it gets hard, but make sure you keep prayer in your life, and make sure you talk to someone and get help. We're always telling the gambler to go and get help. But baby, if you're the spouse or the partner of the gambler, I'm here to tell you, if you never heard it before, you go and get you some help. There are Facebook groups that can help you. There are sources outside that can help you. There are ministers and therapists and friends. Heck, there's Win with Gwen. I'm here for you as well. And the gambler, if you're listening, I love you. I see you. I believe in you. And you know, I told you that acronym BEAT, B-E-A-T, which was belief, expectations, affirmations, and tenacity. I'm speaking to the tenacity within you. When you go out and seek help, it's not going to be easy. You're going to fall, but I want you to know you have what it takes to get back up. And each and every time you fall, I want you to get back up. Every time you fall, get back up, get back up, get back up, because you have it in you to beat this. I've seen people beat gambling over and over and over again. And I know if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you hear me when I say you got what it takes to win, honey. You've got what it takes to win. This ain't your first battle. You've beat many battles. Look back at your life and see the battles, the obstacles that you've already overcome, because that's going to be your proof that you've got this. Because you can't save your family until you save yourself. And family and friends, you can't expect the gambler to save you until they save themselves. So understand, they're not hurting you. They're hurting themselves. And it is an effect that is affecting you. You got to protect yourself. That's your responsibility in this. And yes, you have to say no to your gambler. You have to protect that bank account. You've got this. You guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode, but I had to get that off my chest. You guys have got this. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you're going through. Let me know how you get through it. And if you already gotten through it, share that with someone, because someone needs to hear, someone needs to see that there is gold at the end of the rainbow once you beat this habit. I love you guys. See you next week.